So good afternoon, my dear students. Let us, in continuation to our earlier classes, today also we'll have on the same topic like noise pollution. So in the last classes, I'll just summarize what we have done in the earlier classes. We have seen that how sound has been propagates, and then the difference between the noise and the music, and the third is that how this sounds or a noise is being monitored or recorded. So with this picture, we all know that the noise is associated with the cities, like for example in the developing nations, developing states. Haibadi this particular noise company linear se akhoi development yamna satharaiba nation gumba ko aduna pictures in the tai se karino haiba matamda say matrix of say urbanization, traffic's volume so much that say rapid population that has made a enormous, it gives you a lot of say generate a lot of sound, noisiness. So and that's why that due to that you can see the second picture where there is like they wanted to be free from that gas horn. And again the third picture which pollutes our environment is from the loudspeakers, which has been mostly because of say during festive seasons and all this. So see, these are all the how do they generate the sound from this various sources. So now how do we receive these sounds? So we can call it as a perception of the sound and a hearing mechanism. So you see the ear is our ear is a very complex instrument where it is capable of excellent discrimination over a wide range of frequencies and sound intensities. So the analysis of sound is very complicated one which is not fully understood till. So the external, so how does a sound move? Sounds directs, when a sound comes, it's being received by our external air, we call it as a pinna. So the external air directs the vibration of the sound to the eardrum, and it's multiplied by various means of small phones which are arranged in the middle ear, and then it's from the middle ear it transmits to the inner ear to the brain, in which is in a fraction of a second analyze and translate the impulse into mental or physical response. So the structure of our human ear can be, it's comprised of the following parts, can be categorized into like say the outer, then the middle and the inner ear. So the outer ear and the middle, 1, 2, and this, it goes by like this. So we can see from the slides that it comprises of three say section like outer ear, which consists of the pinna, auditory canal, and the eardrum, and the middle ear consists of air, fluid, filled cavity, and ossicles known as hammer, anvil, and stirrup. The inner ear is a semicircular canal and a cochlea which has the organ of Corti and the sensory organ for hearing. We can see this from, it can be, see, you can see it from this figure that it comprises of three sections, that the outer ear, which we call it as the outer ear, and the middle ear and the inner ear. So the outer ear, which I said that it is the outermost where we has a pinna. From your ear you can see it, okay, and then up to eardrum, which cover up to the eardrum, and then in the middle ear you can see that there are three small bones which are known as hammer, anvil, and stirrup. So these are the three smallest bones which are present in our ear, and you see these are the smallest bones found in our body. So it often asks in a competitive examination or say in any in a quiz that which are the smallest bones found in our body. So in this case you can answer this like hammer, and all this combination of three, the smallest bones is called ossicles. Okay, so in the inner ear it has cochlea where it receives or it directs to the brain directly. Okay, this is the structure of the human ear. So you can see it from the, you can see this from the next figure also. As I have already told you that the sound waves enter here in the outer ear. It takes the sounds up to the eardrum, and from eardrum you can see it from this, the outer ear and the middle ear and the inner ear. So the outer ear consists of only the eardrum and the pinna, and in the middle ear is, as I have already told you, that there are three tiny ear bones which are known as a hammer, anvil, and stirrup. From this the sounds transmit directly to the brain through cochlea. That is how the sounds direct from the outer ear to the brain. So what are these functions of this particular functions of this outer ear, inner ear, and a middle ear? So let us see one by one. The function of the outer ear is to collect sound waves and guides them to the tympanic membrane. So that means it will take the sound and guide them to the eardrum. So after that, what happens is that from there the middle ear takes up. So the middle ear is a narrow air-filled cavity in which it has a temporal bone, and as you know, as I have already mentioned, that in the middle ear is composed of three smallest bones, and collectively we call it as an ossicles. Okay, so in the inner ear, what do we see in the inner ear is also called as a labyrinth. It contains the two main structures, that is a cochlea, which involved in hearing, cochlea to make you to hear, and the vestibular systems, where three semicircular canals or sacules or ventricles is known, and which is generally responsible for maintaining the balance. Why do we have problems when we are exposed to the high level of noise? So that's the reason that the scientists have carried out a lot of research work on this. So there are a lot of effects when we are exposed to the noise. So when we are exposed to noise, we could see that hearing impairment, the speech interference, sleep interference, and a psychological effects. So such effects are being encountered when we are exposed to the high level of noise. So hearing loss is detected when there is a difficulty in conducting sound waves to the inner ear. We call it a sort of hearing. This occurs when condition like blockage in the outer ear. Ngisagi section ahum khaidu human ears outer, middle, and inner. So outer gi ear sida akoina block torpa adagi outer gi the yauriba component that rupture of the eardrum horakpa kairakpa tholakpa da adagi fluid in the middle ear, etc. This condition is called conductive deafness. Hariba deafness may be of temporary because outer ear the solak taragadi we find it medication natraga surgery can restore the normal hearing. So from that damage it can be restored through to normal hearing maybe by surgery. So the second one is a perception of the sound waves is difficult, though they are conductive in the inner ear. This type of loss is called perceptive hearing loss or sensorial neural hearing loss and is not amenable to medical treatment. Masi inner ear gumbada soloppa matamdadi very difficult to bring back to the normal condition because sometimes it may be it is a permanent loss. Surgery so this is caused by the damage of the structure in the inner ear by high level of noise. So makhan amagi hearing loss ni. So general hearing sensitivity akoina sum thengnarakpada engko akoina miyoibasina ahan ora khanda akoi na se sum tapna tathira iko tapna taba phangakte sensitivity je handare adu di with the age is related with the age and we call it, and this term we call it as presbycusis aduna akoi individual capacity gi makhadi poli adubu sensitivity se tapna handara patabagi adubu akoi see medical term da we call it as a presbycusis. And the other type of effects in a karamaina haiba matamda mase cumulative effect workpa. So background noise noise adagi different source tagi lakpa mayam duna adugi akoina exposed to ruba noise to the exposed noise level to the high level of noise to the exposed over yam kui na matamama yam sang exposure in our everyday life we call it as a socioacusis. Okay, this is a very general term. So two types of hearing loss, NITTS, we call it as a noise induced temporary threshold shift. So a person entering a very noisy areas may be experience a miserable loss in hearing sensitivity, but will recover sometime after returning to a quiet environment. So second type of hearing loss is a NIPTS. In short, we call it NIPTS. This is noise induced permanent threshold shift. When NITT is repeated for years, it tends to lose the sensitivity to acoustic stimuli due to the destruction of the structures in the inner ear. This thus leading to a permanent loss, also known as a noise-induced permanent threshold shift. Speech interference, difficulty in speech communication due to background noise. So there are a lot of intrusion of noise. Because of that, we cannot there is a speech interferer. It cannot clearly receive the message from the other individual. So the background noise must be less than 45 dB, 45 decibels, which means. So another effect is a sleep interference. Sleep interference yam da toina thengnaba mafam ne ahanna some aged oiraba ahanna pothaning ba matamda ekhoi angangsina langlakpa matamda mana ngisai ngaktang pothaning ba matamda pothaba phangdaba because of that noise has been created by children. Okay, so to make you to sleep, the background level of noise should be less than the 35 decibels. Okay, so Occupational Safety and Healthy Act USA na certain limits ama mohina find out the way that occupational noise level see mi amana factory or industry that matamda individual aduna 90 decibels da 8 hours khak masi exposed to permit magi standard ama thamim because consider it's safe adugi beyond that 8 hours tagi hel about 90 decibels tagi hel factory or industry ro work to masi magi manasi tarak tabiyai haba mangon effect lakpiyai. So let us see that some other physiological effects say atai ngisagi mathakta pankhriba which I have already mentioned those effects adugi mathakta in addition to that associated with a noise such as physiological problems say dilation of the pupil nangi mitki ko flow of saliva and the gastric juice in the stomach the increased blood pressure levels cause such the muscle reflex ko tends to be more active and there can be a general increase in attention noise tension ju pi sineba. So these are the findings. These are some of the findings which has been carried out by the researchers. In addition to this, you will find, depending upon the nature of the noise and the situation or circumstances in which it occurs, that the listener may express any one of the following. Haibadi madugi mathak to the sagiri noise in the pirak payaba moigi study dira akoina find out to the fear, the adegi kiba ko alarm, anxiousness, adegi reduce adegi work efficiency the reduced tawrpa, adegi irritation, displeasures, and sometimes even violent behavior tholo shini. Some of the studies which has been carried out by the other researchers. High river noise say sound produced or ekai pire masi karamba monga equina control the weather habigi matang the nesina. How do we control noise? So very simple management or can be noise problems in the control of AI. So a noise control problem can be viewed as consisting of three elements. However, so noise which is generated from the source, the noise will move to the recipients. Okay, this recipients is yorokring aida karamba mongda equina kamaitona control the hodage. So the source magi side noise produce generator ani move ani recipient receivers the yorani source the ama equina source the control the hobama. Okay. So another that can be used is the control at the pathway. Aduga receivers the best control of noise can be carried out at the source. Source that are quite effective way. Let us see that how do we do that source that toge haragadi isagi produced already noise produced already source to the substitution of the quieter the quieter machines. The use of the vibration isolation mounting still spring say for example if we do have a generator, okay, for our department, okay, so it gives when we use the generator genset, it produces a lot of noise, okay, which we do not want to hear it. So how do we reduce that one is technology change obama. Natragana equina mounted on the hybrid spring board kumbada thamaga adu matata thamba platform omoina adegi last thomas cock fail kana hanelere adu hojikti masi hybrid hojikti technological change or hojikti generator genset se makhon thoktoba mayam thole. Controlling at the source is the best, but if not possible at the source, we have to control it at the pathway. Mana noise lakpa mamda equina. So how do we delete that source, okay, from that source? So when a source is modified through the addition of a specific control device is generally called a muffler. Next steps a pathway that say for example eastern side of our college is a highway, isn't it? So the lorry gumba the truck buses mayamna chenba sina makhonje tholokpase si akhoi hojik class toriba mofam sida bow yorok Yorahanda combined to Habamatam, the Akoy Yoranda Biaba. Karamba Monda, how do we do that? So we are going to make a barrier. Barrier had any see lakado noise, Akuna Tadapanim. Tadapaseka, we need, say, like for example, say they did Lapunga Madato Macontolopoja, Quincy Tabangam Drivasi, Maram de Akoye here, we have a botanical garden. Lot of trees are there, okay. And then say barrier or in other say trees mayam lere adagi wall mayam lere aduna sida Europe matam mana yamna tappe yamna tapthagre aduna aduda thoiba say highway da thoiba noise so sida tabangamde.